somebody to mend you. I feel numb. I feel numb in this kingdom. I feel numb. I feel numb in this kingdom.
Rachel?
Hello, and welcome to the Square Enix Twitch stream for Life is Strange Before the Storm. I'm Toby Palm, the community manager for Life is Strange. With myself, I have Chris Floyd from Deck 9 Games.
Hey,
Hello,
Toby.
Chris. Chris is the code game director for Before the Storm. And we'll be doing a run-through of some gameplay and also answering a lot of fan questions that we've seen bubbling up, over the past few days, as well as any Twitch chat questions that we may see. It's great to see so many of you already in the chat. A lot of regulars. I see a lot of people from the Life is Strange community, the Reddit guys, the Blackwell Academy. I can see a lot of regular people who tune into Square Enix on a regular basis as well. So thank you very much for all tuning in. It's good times to be here.
Absolutely.
Good times. So we've been working on Life is Strange for I think just over a year now.
Yeah, a little over a year.
Yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. It's it's been really difficult, particularly for me, because I live in the online space, to just sort of keep quiet and not be able to say anything, because I see so many people, who said, please give us, another story with Chloe and Rachel, and please give us more Life is Strange, and then to finally be able to show that and reveal that.
Yeah, at the Microsoft conference the other night, Sunday night, we got to show everybody that trailer that you just saw a moment ago, and let Chloe out of the bag, as it were, for everyone to know, all the fans to see that we're working on Before the Storm, and we're going to be going back to Arcadia Bay. It was a great feeling, just knowing there's so many fans out there just waiting for some word and finally being able to let that out.
Oh yeah, exciting times. We were sat in the conference itself, and goosebumps all around. So Before the Storm, good stuff. So like I said, we're doing a run through the gameplay. I know there's a lot of questions. We'll try and answer some of them as we're going along. I know particularly some big ones that you do have. We do have about 50 minutes at the end of the gameplay session, in which we'll focus specifically on your questions and just answer as many of them as we can. So we'll jump into the gameplay in a minute. Do you want to set the scene?
Yeah,
Chris?
let me give some of the basics. Before the Storm is a 3-episode standalone game. It's set 3 years prior to the original game. So we're going back to a 16-year-old Chloe Price. And if you're a fan, you know that this is a troubled time in Chloe's life. Her father died just a couple of years before. In a tragic accident. Max, her best friend, has left town and lost touch. Chloe really feels alone against the whole world. Enter Rachel Amber, right? So Rachel Amber, the perfect student, the most popular girl in school. Really, she's everything to everyone. She's very different from Chloe. And we're going to get to see how these two girls meet, how their relationship develops. We're also going to find out that maybe the perfect girl, Rachel Amber's perfect life, isn't so perfect.
Is anyone's?
And that's right. And they're going to need to learn how to lean on each other to deal with their problems.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump into the gameplay then. It is we are starting off in a new environment, I believe.
That's right. Yeah, we're starting off in the abandoned lumber mill outside of Arcadia Bay. There is a illegal underground concert going on.
Right,
And
right,
Chloe has talked her way in.
Quick fire question, favorite band?
My favorite band?
Yes.
My favorite band actually is a band called
can't
Lost
believe
in the
Firewalk
Trees.
is Chloe's
They're a
show at the
fantastic
Old Mill.
orchestral,
Mom
very
would
artsy
kill me
Uh-huh.
if she
band.
knew I was
Not
Really
bad, not
enjoy
bad.
them. So here we
This
go.
is
We've found our way into the abandoned mill.
Right.
Cute dog.
Chloe's favorite band, Firewalk, is playing on the other side of that wall. She
Very-
really wants to hear them play.
Yeah. Interesting choice of name, of course.
Of course, a little hat tip there. I think
Yeah.
people will recognize.
Cool. So yeah, so we're starting off in the mill. This is fairly towards the beginning of the game, you said?
Yeah, this is very close to the start of our story.
Right. Cool. Chat, let us know if you'd prefer to like hear more audio from the game, or if you want to have a bit more insight as to what's going on. Totally, we can adjust that on the fly.
Me neither.
As with any environment in Life is Strange, there's so many things to interact with, people to talk to. We've got a guy selling T-shirts here. Chloe would love to have one.
$20? That's robbery. And don't call me baby.
Fine, $20, thief.
That guy's a dick. If I want a shirt, I'm going to need to get creative.
Chloe has been a lot of fun as a protagonist because
Yep.
she's so different from Max. So
Right,
the way
right.
she'll solve problems and the sorts of things she'll try to do are a little bit different, a little more brash.
Releasing that brake would roll the car right
than what
out
Max
from
would-
under that.
would-
tube.
Oh yeah, no,
attempt.
definitely.
Do I want a
I'm
Firewalk
remembering
shirt
like
that
in
bad?
season 1, you have a puzzle, you have to rewind time to move something back, or teleport it almost.
Sorry,
Yeah.
You're
Maybe
literally
you
throwing a
shouldn't
guy,
overtry.
you're bowling him over essentially, right?
That's right.
Shit. No. Come on.
Yeah, compared to Max, Chloe is not nearly so timid or cautious. She's kind of a wrecking ball
Thanks
who
for
doesn't
playing.
care how much damage she
Dick.
does as she pursues her goals.
Yeah. So I just saw in the Twitch chat, someone just asked if this is after the car crash
Sweet,
of
sweet
Chloe's dad
victory.
dying.
It is.
Which
This is
is
about-
not a spoiler because that's just
That's
part
just
of-
the way it is. Yes,
yeah.
this is 2 years after
That's like
William
$200
dies.
bucks.
But compared to the first game, that is a lot fresher in Chloe's mind. She's still really grappling with all of that, with the loss of her father at this point.
right. So we've just nicked a bit of money, I see.
Yeah, we just had
Holy
Chloe
shit.
steal some money when she got the
I'm
opportunity to
rich.
take the T-shirt. She also took the vendor's cash at the same time. That could come in handy later.
Mhm.
Obviously, choices, consequences, super important
Yeah.
in Before the Storm, just as they were in Life is Strange.
Sketch Central.
Yeah.
A lot of new characters in this environment, but also some familiar ones. Who's
Oh,
one of
hello
them?
there. It's
know this
Beans.
guy?
It's Beans.
It's Beans.
Hours.
That's right.
What is he doing here?
Frank's going
No,
to take a little bit of a different role. He was very much the antagonist in the original game. Of course, he's still very rough around the edges here.
Right, of course.
But when we're talking about Chloe, she has her own perspective
Look
on
at that getup.
the other characters.
Studs.
We'll get to see how she thinks of
trying
maybe
too
the same
hard.
characters
Yes.
as opposed to Max.
What are you even doing here?
Yeah, fairly interesting,
I'm here to see
and they're also
Firewalk,
at a
man.
different point in
They
their
rock.
relationship with Chloe as versus
How'd
where they
you
are in
even
season
hear
1.
about this little
So
shit
it's in season 1, I believe.
The internet.
Chloe
How else?
owes Frank a lot of
Seriously?
money, and he's actually
kids?
not violently disposed, but he's in a different place with her than he is right here, where he's a bit
Okay,
chilled out.
so
That's
you're
right.
holding? I could
But yeah,
definitely
I
do
know
something
Frank was one of the
take the edge
favorites
off.
Of course.
from season 1
As soon as you
for
give
his
me the
beans in particular.
$175
Of course.
And
He was eating those beans.
yeah, he was eating those beans. I mean, what are you doing? And of course, I'm really happy that
Toss in a dime
that
bag
is
and
one.
We'll call it square.
What happens with Frank,
What do you wait for?
and sort of,
Spend money here.
how we engage with
Really
him
don't
throughout
think
the game.
before
I
you
think
act, do you?
there are really cool opportunities there for you
Nope.
guys, and where you have
So
shown
where's my pop?
how much you know about the first game and how how
more
big
loans.
how big fans
Oh,
you
you're
are
fucking
yourselves.
We are really
You're a
fans
good man,
first here.
Frank.
We wanted to play the next Life is Strange game. We didn't really imagine we'd have the
Pay a
opportunity to
price.
make
You're
the next
cracking
Life
my
is Strange
Yep.
game.
I'll see
So,
you later.
so as huge fans, we really strive every day, honestly, every day, to remain true to the original
Reminds
Life
me
is
of the way I
Strange.
make
It
important
means a lot
life
to us
choices.
to do that. We're going to see an example here of a new take on an old feature.
Graffiti everywhere. I think they missed a spot.
Instead of Max's photography,
Right.
Chloe makes her mark on the world with her big black magic marker. So you'll get to choose
Sit
sometimes
and
what you
spit.
want to say in these different points in the world that you can mark.
Sweet. And that's going to be linked to achievements, right? As
That's
well.
right. So that's linked to the
300
achievements and
dock
trophies,
workers laid
just like
off,
photography.
their pensions
Can we
canceled.
reveal if there's a platinum
Those
trophy
guys are real
at all?
tools.
There will indeed be a platinum trophy
Yes.
for the season. So
For the full
Exciting.
season. Great. But
All-
I'm a big
all you
hunter.
trophy chasers can go after that. Chloe's trying to get into the back room here. That's going to get in a little bit of trouble.
Fuck.
So I'm seeing a lot of questions, flow through the chat. Keep coming, guys. We'll try and answer them towards the end, of course, when I've gathered them all out.
A couple of new characters here,
Yeah.
hassling Chloe a little
Yeah.
bit.
You don't know.
Yeah.
who
So
I am.
of course, life's changed. All about choice and
Don't
consequence.
care either.
Whatever you do.
Hey, let me know how that works
And
out.
with Chloe in particular,
Bitch.
she's a very certain
All right.
character, right?
Last hit is a
She's
no-go.
not quite the Chloe from season 1.
Fine.
True.
But her
Maybe I can
reactions
get a better
and
view of the
what
action
she
from
what
up
she says. So
above.
we just apologized. Is still a bit like snarky Chloe.
That is true. It's very true. She has an attitude that Max definitely doesn't. And of
Yes.
course, another big difference is she doesn't have the rewind power.
Right.
In the previous game, you'd be given the opportunity to maybe roll back and try that conversation again. For Chloe, she's going to be stuck with her choices. The
Yeah.
player's going to be stuck with her choices. We're really doubling down
Yeah.
on those consequences, so
Finally
fans better
made
be
it.
ready.
I
Yeah,
can't
deal with
believe
it. Sunglasses.
That's right. Now Chloe's finally got a chance to see the band from up top. Of course, music is super important in
Oh, yes.
our game, as it was in Life is Strange. Super important. We have a ton of exciting announcements about tracks and bands that are going to be involved in the game.
Oh, yes.
We're really looking forward to announcing some of that stuff.
Oh yeah. I from having seen the fans' reactions and talking to them over the past year, asking them what are the kind of music that you listen to or that you discovered season 1, and there's so many people giving all their favourites and new bands and stuff like that, and it's really cool to see some of those bands have made it in here. We'll reveal which bands.
Back goes through, right?
I'm
But it's
sorry
great
about the
that
beer, okay?
a lot of people will be like, wow, the music that I love
Then how about
and
I show
discovered
you
through the first
how
game,
unimpressed I
those
am
new
with
bands are here.
old dick
reflected here, and we're
assholes who
absolutely
get
gonna introduce you to
butthurt
some
over a
brand new
spilled beer.
She's
Of course.
calling us out, dude. She's gonna regret every word. Every word. Oh, this is gonna be good. I'm gonna teach this little punk some
I'm
manners.
serious. You want to see me get angry here? Because I'm getting there. And it won't be pretty. It won't.
She thinks she can take you?
Hey, dickhead.
And this is our first major choice
Right.
for the game. How are you going to deal with this dangerous situation? Rachel has just gotten you out.
Rachel?
So Rachel, very little was known even by the characters in season 1 about her, and again here we see a Rachel that we don't really expect to see from season 1. Like her complete outfit and get-up.
That's
is
right.
completely different to what you expect, and that's part of her character, right? She's almost like a chameleon. She
Absolutely,
just fits wherever she goes.
That's a great point. Yeah, Chloe has snuck her way in here. A 16-year-old girl in a kind of dangerous place here. You don't really imagine that maybe someone else has. Find out that Rachel Amber, the most popular girl in school, is also here.
Right.
And her get-up is starting to tell you a little bit about Rachel.
Right.
She's such a mythical figure in the first game.
Yeah.
But we're so excited to finally meet her, interact with her, and develop that relationship between Chloe and Rachel together.
And see her in different environments and how that changes her.
That's right. She's always a character with a lot of secrets. It's not going to change in our game.
Yeah. And actually, that brings up an interesting point, because a lot of people, like I saw one of the questions that people on on the forums and Facebook were asking were, why did we choose Chloe? Why people expect almost that we go with Rachel, and Chloe is again the supporting character. And so Chloe is a very interesting choice, I think, but. And a lot of people were concerned that because they thought we're choosing Rachel, and that takes away sort of a bit of her mystery. So by deliberately not choosing her, she's still almost like at arm's length,
Hey,
and we as Chloe will still not be able to know everything about her. She'll still have that mystery.
That's right. Yeah, we actually looked at many characters at the start of developing the game. We considered a lot of the characters in Arcadia Bay to be our perspective character, our protagonist. And we totally considered Rachel. There were a lot of neat things we could have done with that. One of the things that struck us is that the character that your protagonist interacts with, the main relationship character was Chloe in the first game. It's Rachel here. In a lot of ways, that's the character that you get to know the best. And you get to see that character through the eyes of someone else. And the idea of watching and seeing Rachel through Chloe's eyes actually we just became kind of infatuated with that idea. Of course, Chloe is just super appealing on her own for her attitude and all that. Felt so different from what we had in the first game. That's ultimately why we chose Chloe.
I do that in my head during
a good choice.
every class. See?
I'm personally very excited to see
Let's give it a try.
what theories fans come up with, because again, we've left plenty of space. There's a lot of
Loving this guy.
things you can
What's he thinking right now?
make your own interpretations up about in the game. We've the Life is Strange, the first season. There's a lot of things where it's entirely up to the fan or the gamer what they make of it, and it's up to their own theories to flesh out the story. And I think we've embraced that again before the storm.
It's very important for us to leave some room, obviously for players to make choices throughout the game, also to leave a little mystery and let them find ways to interpret the events of the game. Particularly when it comes to those strange elements. We may not have a power, but we will absolutely have those strange elements in the game. And a little bit of this touch of the supernatural, I think, is going to make the fans really happy. And they're going to have a field day talking online.
I'm seeing a lot of love for Samuel in the chat. It's great to see. L. Chingen also asked if there'll be a spin-off Jefferson game. I don't think that's planned right now.
I don't know that we're going to hit every character, and he may not be one we put it at the top of our list.
But yeah, it's really cool to see.
Maybe that's what fan fiction is for.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, it's a great point. The fan fiction around Life is Strange is second to none. Like there's so many great authors out there, and so for me personally, I keep seeing this fan fiction. I think it's called Oribus come up. Everyone sort of keeps bringing it up again, and that takes place after season 1. So if you guys, the fans, are interested in fan fiction, while waiting for Before the Storm to come out, I'd definitely recommend checking out that, because there are some great authors out there.
There's so many great creators in the Life is Strange fan base.
Oh yes.
We're constantly barraged by tremendous creations that the fan base makes. It's one of the things that's so energizing about interacting with this community.
So we've just moved, right?
Hey,
and I think
we were in a location called the Overlook.
Right.
That's a brand new location. Now we're in a very familiar place.
Interesting.
One of many familiar locations. Of course, we'll be visiting around Arcadia Bay. We know that the junkyard becomes a little hideaway for Chloe and Rachel as the years progress. But again, we're 3 years earlier. They're just now discovering this very important location.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the junkyard is a great scene to show like what you guys as Deck 9 are actually capable of. And a lot of people, have looked at your work, and I think there's been a lot of people have been actually really impressed by it. In particular the facial animations, lip sync, all that looks really great. And then you've hit the lighting spot on. That sort of autumnal feel. But at the same time, you've also added your own flavor
heard that
to, you know,
actors
as we
are
saw in the
moody,
mill
but
earlier on.
Wow,
you know.
Rachel.
Yeah,
I'm
we
not
of
moody.
course it was very important
just
to us
need some space.
to match the
Is that all right
look
with
and
you?
feel
Okay.
of the first game because that's so much part of that
Actually,
experience. And
no.
I won't lie, don't not put
I
the
thought we were
bar
having a great
extremely
day
high.
together. Why are you
So
acting
we
like
really
this all
dug
of a
in
sudden? I'm not
very
acting
deeply
like
into
anything.
what Life is
I just
Strange
wanna be
was,
left
literally
alone
almost
right now.
shot by shot in a number of cases, looking
No.
frame by
I
frame
don't
at
understand.
how
You
they
can't just turn
created
on me for no
that
reason.
the feel of the
I'm
lighting, like
sorry,
you're talking
turn on
about,
you?
Yeah.
the look of the
I guess I forgot.
characters
It's always
and the
about
environments,
how you
that
feel,
painterly
isn't it?
style.
There's the
Sad Chloe's
cinematography,
fucking
right?
sad again.
And cinematography, so important. My
Maybe you should
co-director,
try
Webb
giving a shit
Pickersgill,
about other
he's
people
our
for
cinematic
once.
director.
Are you serious right
He's
now?
done an amazing job recreating the really creative use of cinematography for the
Okay.
game to
I
give
still
us
have no
that
idea
same
what's
feel.
going on with Rachel,
It really
but
feels in continuity
Apparently,
with
she gets
Life is
smashy
Strange,
when she's angry.
Yep.
including
I can
some
work with
emotional moments like the one we're seeing right
Exactly.
now.
Let's shut up and enjoy it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Score.
We've got a big decision coming up, of course, which I know fans would love to see. One option.
They might have some opinions about.
Yeah.
Here, if you really want to smash something, this should do the trick. I asked you to leave me alone. Are you kidding me?
One thing I might
I
add
know
is
you're
that
the school
I saw a lot of
princess and all,
people, you know,
with
saying
the DA daddy
that they were
and the
quite
perfect
surprised that
grades
Rachel
and all
is
the perfect
almost
little
feels a bit
Victoria
cold
chases kissing your perfect
in the scenes
ass.
that we selected.
But seriously,
you know, her
Fuck you.
personality isn't really what
Great.
they expected.
I'm leaving.
But again, I think that all
See
comes
you
back
around,
to
Chloe. You can't
you know,
leave. Watch
who she
me.
is, the chameleon that she is,
Rachel,
that she
wait.
changes,
Don't
and also
go.
of course there are, you know, something's happened here, you know, so this isn't like normal everyday Rachel. This is
That's absolutely
Why
true,
not?
and you will get some opportunities in some of the scenes that we skipped over to see how Rachel
because I
sort
don't
of
wanna ruin this
communicates
the
and
way I
how she
ruined
gets by in
everything else
her
in my
sort of
life.
natural habitat at school and hanging out with Chloe before we get to some of these
And
troubled
what is
moments.
this exactly?
here we go. So sorry for you
Real
guys on stream.
friendship.
I know a lot of people
I
would have
thought
loved to
Chloe
have seen
Price
something
doesn't
more,
need friends.
but honestly, I think
I thought so too.
that it's better to
before
save
today.
it because
I guess it's easier
Chloe and
to be
Rachel.
alone
So
if you
the
decide
game is
it's a
about
choice.
friendship,
I'm
you know,
sorry
and their
for
relationship,
whatever I did or
and much
didn't
like the first
do.
game, it's
Today was the best
entirely
day
up
I
to
had
the
since-
player, you guys playing the
since my
game,
dad died.
what you make of the characters.
And I
You know,
screwed it up
whether
somehow.
they are in a relationship,
Like I screw
a
everything
romantic
up,
relationship,
'cause
or
I'm
whether
a
they're
fucking
friends.
screw-up. Chloe,
And
please.
particularly in the game, I think you as the player
I don't
can
wanna be alone
evolve
anymore.
that sort of that level of intimacy almost between the characters. So that's something more option. The
I'm
outcome
sorry,
of that will actually
Chloe.
depend on your previous
I can't
choices.
Say why.
True.
I
Right.
know it
We
isn't
have a
fair,
number of places
but I
where you
can't
can
be
decide
your
how you
friend
want to
right now.
talk and behave with
Can't
Rachel all
or
throughout
don't want
our whole
to.
series.
Doesn't
It's going to
matter.
define that relationship, and there are a number of
I'm really
directions, really a whole
sorry.
spectrum
Goodbye,
of
Chloe.
places where that relationship can go. And we just wanted, we felt that putting the control of that relationship in the hands of the player was really the best option. It fits, obviously, with
Yeah.
the choices and consequences of Life is Strange.
Yeah, and some of those choices will be subtle, and some will be more obvious. You know,
Right.
and I think it'll be really cool to see. You know, it'll change the playthrough from one player to another, like what level of intimacy they have, you know, and
Fuck
whether they want to go
this.
down that path or not.
Exactly right.
I'd recommend everyone watching the stream keep an eye on the montage. You might see, you know, a few little suggestions.
Characters, some interesting moments.
Yeah, so some environments, some returning characters. You know, so a little bit of
Teaser?
a little bit of a teaser, of course. So yeah, and then of course we've got the Raven, or Crow.
Raven.
Raven, right?
Talking about the Raven,
Got it
yes.
right the first time. First time. So yeah, so just coming back to the choice between, you know, building a friendship with Rachel and creating a romantic relationship between her. I'd have to say, just as a reminder, much like the first game, Life is Strange is a game that you make. So where the player makes of it what they want. There is no canon choice
That's right.
between one or another. The relationship between Chloe and Rachel, that's up to the player. And I have seen some people say, if with a friendship in this case choice, that's clearly a romantic. She's still clearly romantically involved. That is, I'd have to say that's completely not true.
We're working with some of the ambiguity of the original game that we feel
Yes.
was there, and we just really felt it was important to let the player shape that. If we don't have choices in the primary relationship that takes place in the game,
Yep.
it feels like we're divorcing two important pieces of Life is Strange: the choices and consequences, and that core relationship that really powers the game.
Yeah.
You need input there. And there's going to be a lot of interesting implications of what you get into with Rachel.
Cool. So yeah, well, that was the gameplay for Life is Strange Before the Storm. Now we've got another maybe 20 minutes, 15 minutes of just Q&A. And so I'm the community manager, as I mentioned before, and I've kept a very close eye since the announce on everything that has been said. So I've been lurking in Reddit, in the Don't Nod Discord, the NeoGAF. I've been keeping an eye, the Steam discussions, everywhere. And I've sort of really seen what people are talking about, what people have questions about. So I've written a bunch of them down. So we're going to it'll be a bit more quick fire, just to be able to give you as many answers as you want. So jumping into the first one, or rather, actually, I've seen this come up a bunch in the chat. The time that elapses throughout an episode, is that a day, a bit more than a day?
Yeah, we were telling essentially each of our episodes takes about the course of a day.
24 hours.
So about
right?
24 hours. That's right.
Okay. Cool. So I think let's jump into a few shorter questions.
Okay.
A lot of people have been asking, is there a limited edition, as in like a physical edition, as we brought out for the first season, which was a boxed edition? And for now, all we can say is that we're focusing entirely on bringing the game out digitally and episodically. So the plans for a physical edition have not yet been set. Of course, we'll let you know if that ever changes. But for now, we're focused entirely on the digital release. Similarly, a lot of people have asked about Linux, Macs, Nintendo Switch versions and ports. Again, we're focusing just on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC Steam. So we're focusing on those for now. That's not to say others won't be available later on, but we can't guarantee anything, of course. So we are entirely focused on those three for now.
Right.
So just to chat, a question I saw in the chat. Whether so what returning characters might there be? Jefferson was thrown in there. What about Kate, Victoria, perhaps?
Sure. We'll absolutely be seeing a lot of returning characters that people love. But we wanted to introduce new characters as well,
Right.
And that means you need to leave a little room for that. So a little room in the cast list, as it were, for some interesting new characters to make their way in. I think you're going to love some of the new characters, some of the new students we have at Blackwell.
I know already which one you're talking about.
But that did mean that we decided to leave some characters out for our story. Jefferson, for instance, hasn't arrived at Blackwell Academy at this point. Kate is not in our story, but
Unfortunately, Cupcake Kate.
That's right. But we're gonna see a lot of returning characters. You might have caught a glimpse of Nathan in that little montage at the end there.
Cheeky.
Yeah. And you'll get to see them in a new light because you're seeing them through Chloe's eyes. It's going to be exciting.
Yes. I think for a lot of the characters, it's really interesting to see them in a very different place in their time. Much like Chloe, before she became Chloe of Season 1, Nathan is Nathan before he became the guy with the gun in the bathroom.
Yep.
You
you definitely get a sense of the journey they're on the way towards.
Yes, exactly. Before the Storm almost sets Nathan on not on that path towards where he is, but it establishes part of why he becomes the character he is later on. Let's see. A lot of questions were also for whether we're bringing out a full-size art book. For now, like I said, we're just focusing on the digital stuff. That ties into merchandise. Actually, I think it'd be really cool if we could do more merchandise. I mean, I'm repping Hot Dog Man right now. A great character. Is he returning? Is Hot Dog Man coming back?
I think you'll see Hot Dog Man somewhere.
Awesome. Great. So yeah, so merchandise and art book. Again, no plans have been set. We love hearing feedback from the community and you guys, and we'll take it all on board. We'll discuss it internally, but now no guarantees, unfortunately. So let's see. Right. So one of the bigger questions, of course, which I know has polarized the community very much. And again, I've seen this. I've read both opinions about it. Is the question, of course, of Ashley Birch not being able to reprise her role as Chloe.
Right.
And
yeah. So of course we wanted to have Ashley Birch play Chloe in our game, and it was very disappointing to find that because of circumstances outside of our control, that she wasn't going to be able to do that. Ashley is such an important part of the Life is Strange family. She really is part of that family. So one of the things we did was we still wanted her involved somehow, and we sent her our first episode script just to see what she thought. When she read the script, she was so excited by what she saw and where we were going with this story that she just said, "Please, I want to be involved somehow." And of course, she's an Emmy-nominated writer, so we're really privileged to have her consulting with our writing team and really being a part of that team and helping to flesh out Chloe's language, how she talks, and who she is for our whole game, and helping to guide our team and make sure that we're really remaining true to who Chloe is.
Yes, and I think from my perspective, I think we've tried to make the best of a difficult situation that we've landed in. Right. I've seen a lot of suggestions on in the community. Could we put her add a DLC with Ashley Birch later on? A lot of requests for us to wait for the strike to end. And truthfully, these are all things we really wrestled with a lot, and we thought about it, and so just to give a sort of a rough timeline, I believe we contacted Ashley Birch towards the end of last year, when the strike had already been underway for some time, and we asked her, so we offered the role to her, and unfortunately she wasn't able to because of the strike, which is entirely fair enough. So we really wrestled, could we do DLC? Could we wait for the strike to end? And that was actually, so if we're thinking back now, this was at the beginning of the year. This was January when we already said, should we maybe wait for the strike to end? And
you don't know when a strike is going to end, unfortunately.
Exactly.
And this has turned out to be one of the longest strikes in that union's history.
Yeah, exactly.
So we even went to the point of considering whether we shouldn't make this game. I mean, it came to that point, and saying if we can't have Ashley Birch, who is obviously so iconic in this role, is it worth telling this story? But our final conclusion was fans will want to see this story, and it has a lot to, I think, to bring to the world of Life is Strange. So we didn't want these unfortunate circumstances to get in the way. So we have cast a really talented actress. She's actually our motion capture actress as well as the vocal actress for Chloe. Her name is Rihanna DeVries. She's doing a tremendous job performing the younger Chloe, and she's really capturing that character. Very sincerely, I think that I think a lot of our fans, giving Rihanna a chance, you're going to be really happy with the Chloe that you get in this story.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's been really great to see that, even though emotions are running high around this issue, it's really good to see that the community of Life is Strange is actually willing to give Rihanna a chance. And, they've said, it's a bad situation, and it is difficult. It's difficult for all parties involved, but they're willing to accept that and actually give Rihanna a chance and actually realize she's actually really good. She can actually put it out the bag. And yeah, I think from her, how she goes through the first episode, which we've of course got coming up on the 31st of August, will really showcase fans that she has landed it.
Yeah. Give her a chance. I think she's really gonna impress.
Yeah. So that's as much as we can say about the strike right now.
Yep.
So just moving on, there was a few questions about the Max bonus episode coming out, which is part of the deluxe edition and will be coming out after the third episode.
That's an additional bonus episode, basically. So our game is a self-contained 3 episodes of Before the Storm,
Yes.
Chloe's story. But we knew that there still were fans who really wanted a chance to play as Max just one more time. So we call it our farewell episode. You're going to get to play as Max sometime when Max and Chloe are younger. It's going to be a really emotional moment and a really emotional episode. And as you said, that's going to be part of the deluxe edition.
Yes, exactly. And just to clarify, I mean, we mentioned this online before, but if you don't want to get the deluxe edition and you just want to stick with a complete season, you are not missing out any part if you don't get this bonus episode.
That's right.
It is literally a bonus for the fans. And we've titled it Farewell because it's if you think about it, it takes place as when you play as young Max, essentially, when she's saying farewell to a lot of people in her life. But it's almost like a farewell for fans as well.
Farewell to Arcadia Bay, maybe?
Possibly, for now at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that very much. We don't have any other info to share about that right now, but I think fans will really love playing that and will look forward to it. So speaking of Max, so one of the things we weren't able to show in the gameplay today, but I think that fans, when they heard of it, were actually really intrigued by, is the concept of letters to Max that Chloe is writing as she progresses the game. So in season one, Max had her diary,
Right.
which sort of recounts, what's happened on a day-to-day basis, what's going on in the story. So we've got something similar.
Yeah,
in
so
place.
of course we needed a journal for the player to be able to remind themselves what's happened in the story so far if they return later to the story, and so we were thinking about what does Chloe's version of that journal look like. She doesn't seem like somebody who would keep a diary the same way that Max definitely does. So where we ended up is saying that Chloe is writing a series of letters to Max. Maybe some of those she had sent, but at the start of our story, she's got some letters that she's stopped
Unreturned,
sending.
I guess. They never came back.
They never came back.
Never replied.
No replies. We know that Max is a little bit incommunicado during this period of Chloe's life, and that's part of what leaves her alone. So Chloe continues to write to Max. Max's presence is always felt in Before the Storm. You could say she doesn't, physically appear in the game, but her presence is always felt. And Chloe will talk about her, compare things to Max, and that partly is embodied in these letters that she writes that form her account of the story as it takes place.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to see that sort of psychological insight into Chloe during the events of Before the Storm, when everything's happening and she's got that sort of connection, that sort of like a diary to jot down her notes that she doesn't share with anyone else, the letters she never sends potentially. I think that will be really touching for fans. So just briefly wrapping up, chat will I think we'll do one more question. If you guys have any questions in the chat, let us know now, and we'll try and pick them up. But so just briefly coming back to Deck 9 games, I think you guys have really demonstrated how incredibly talented you guys are and what how well you've done with the game. Do you want to
really appreciate that? I hope the fans agree.
Yeah, I think they do. Do you want to just tell us more about your team?
Would love to, yeah. So Deck 9 Games has spent the last 3 years building up a team and a tool set to make cinematic narrative adventure games along the lines of Life is Strange. So that means that team. We've looked around at the worlds of film and television and games, and brought all of those kinds of people together. Brought together great storytellers, cinematic artists, environment artists, of course, a great team of writers, level designers, to be able to make specifically this kind of game. And we've built a tool set. We call it StoryForge. And that's really designed to allow these storytellers to just unleash their creativity and to create this kind of a game without a lot of technical hurdles getting in the way. So as an example,
Right.
StoryForge has sort of two pieces. One is a tool we call Playwright. That is a tool for essentially writing screenplays, just like you would write a movie screenplay, except that our writers can add the logic and the branches that make these stories interactive. So they can add choice points and consequences, and if this happened, we'll now show this piece of the story, or skip that piece if you didn't make some particular choice. So they can build these stories a lot like a screenwriter would, but with all the nuance that they need to make it interactive. And then we pull that script into a tool called Storyteller.
Yep.
And that really creates a whole time, like a giant timeline of a scene. And we can place the characters in the right location, apply animations, make them do whatever they need to do from our motion capture. And then even create facial performances. We have literally little sliders that we can turn up the sadness or turn up the happiness or turn them down or blend them in whatever way we want to. And that's where we can get these really subtle, amazing performances out of the characters.
Oh yeah, I think that really shows by the facial animations.
For Deck 9 games, again, we were really fans first. So it's been honestly a lot of pressure, but also a huge privilege to be able to make a Life is Strange game, and we just really hope that fans really love what we do.
Yep. So just sorry. So just looking at the chat flying by, someone just asked if there's going to be bottle collecting like in season 1. I don't think there will be bottle collecting as far as I'm aware, but do we have a nod to it?
We you will see some beer bottles. It's a moment we as a game designer and with my game design team we talk about quite often. We definitely have the advantage of learning some lessons from some of the from the original game.
Yeah.
Helped us to really refine the gameplay.
Yeah, that's great. So probably not a bottle gathering game, but maybe like a little nod.
Bottles.
A little nod. So someone just had a question about what game, what language the game will be localized in.
Yeah, so we'll be in English, French, Italian, German, Spanish, including Mexican Spanish as well, Brazilian Portuguese.
Yep.
And I believe simplified Chinese as well.
Yep, that too. So that's great. We've already touched briefly on the power, of course. I mean, we did that early on. There were still a few questions about that. So yeah, there is no time power in Before the Storm.
That's right.
But so we've mentioned this on online before, but it would make sense to have another superhero in Arcadia Bay.
That's right.
Chloe would have known this when Max arrives later on. So it would have seemed almost forced.
It also doesn't feel true to Life is Strange.
Yes.
I think to make it, as you say, feel like Arcadia Bay is some town full of superheroes. That wouldn't put the supernatural elements in the right kind of mixture with all the everyday stuff that's also really important. You bring up a good point. Chloe doesn't mention any kind of power.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't she in the first game if she didn't? I think there's another important point here too, though, and that's that the rewind power really is an embodiment of who Max is as a character. She's timid, she's cautious, she's questioning her every decision. That was her sort of critical personality attribute in the first game. Chloe is not at all like that. She's brash, she's tough, she's devil may care in so many ways, and so a power like Rewind just really doesn't fit with who Chloe is.
Yeah, Okay, that's fair enough. And the chat's been spamming me now for a few minutes, almost threatening or not threatening, but accusing me of dodging this question. So I can't ignore it. They've been asking who will be voicing Max in the farewell episode, and the honest answer is we're not at that point of
It's too early to
development
say
yet.
right
It's
now.
too early to say. We're currently working very hard on making episode 1 as amazing as it can be for the release August 31st. And then we'll be moving on to 2 and 3. And after that, we'll be looking at the farewell episode. So we honestly don't have an answer for that right now. But, I just want you guys to know in the chat, and if you're watching this, of course, on VOD later on, that, everything you guys say, all the questions you have, we do read them. We try and answer them when we can. And we honestly don't ignore any of you, because I think it would be a mistake to ignore the Life is Strange community, because it's such an amazing community, and you guys, are so passionate about the game. As we mentioned before, it's amazing to see how much love the game got, and we're very aware of the connection we have with you guys, and I think we want to keep building on that.
It's another way Deck 9 feels so privileged. Of course we get to build on the foundation of an amazing game that Don't Nod created, but also we have the privilege of creating content for this truly amazing set of fans.
Yes, exactly. So just as a brief reminder, we have been playing or showing Life is Strange Before the Storm today. It will be releasing August 31st on Xbox One.
First episode out August 31st.
Yes.
It'll be on Xbox One, as you're saying, and PlayStation 4
and PC Steam.
Mhm.
Yep, exactly. So it's been actually really good. Thank you very much for coming along, Chris.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's
Yeah.
such a delight to talk to the fans and
Yes.
answer some of their questions as well.
Thanks for everyone. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Of course, it's been great. We've got lots more information for you guys coming up in the next couple of months, essentially, right before we.
I'm sure we'll be talking to the fans again in the future.
Yes, and we'll keep you updated. With all the news as well. If you follow Life is Strange on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. But of course, if you keep to your own hubs, we're there as well. We're chatting with you guys. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Toby Palm, the community manager for Life is Strange. This is Chris Floyd, co-game director for Life is Strange Before the Storm, working at Deck 9 Games. We're really looking forward to showing you more of the game and seeing what you think of that. Thank you again for tuning in.
Thanks a lot, everybody.